Hi guys, it's Kay Comer in here with you finally after all this time. I'm going to have a hard time, I think, video on this book because it's a pretty good size. It's about 8 or 9 inches wide, maybe, by 10 or 12 inches tall by the time you count in the rags. I like for the rags to be different lengths and all that throughout the book. And so it's just depends on how you... the book itself, I believe, was 8 by 10 when I started, the paper part. This has been a long time coming. This book has been a long time coming. Quite a few people, you know, back in the fall and around the holidays, I was having such time trying to keep up with orders. I'll set this down and hope it won't be too close. I was having a hard time keeping up with all the orders, the small books and the big books, and some people wanted me to do more big books, and then some others that didn't have the money to put in the big books wanted me to do some smaller books, and so I was trying to please everybody, which is my thing, and it was hard. So I said at the first of the year that I will try to do one big book a month and as many little ones as I can. I did get 2 or 3 small ones done, special orders during January. But here we are, about 3:15 p.m., I think it is, on February the 18th. And this is the January book. But this is the best I can do. I'll still see if I can get one out by February, the end of February, before March 1st. I just don't know. But this book took on a life of its own. I need to talk faster because there's too much to show in the book. This is the biggest book I have ever made by far. It's covered with an old quilt. And my daughter and I bought this old quilt at a flea market, gosh, down around Kentucky Lake. And I bet that was 25 or 30 years ago. And I was hesitant to buy it because it was so raggedy at the time. And you have to be careful. There are pages in this book and fabric in this book that really is so authentically old that if you don't be careful now, it is going to crumble. I've tried to take care of it best I can and treat it just a little bit so it won't. But now it will if we don't be careful. I'm going to zoom in here. But that's what the outside is. This is just some lace on here. This is just an image, a little doily behind that. Some creepy cloth and a button on that. So let's get it opened up. Now, there are accidents in this book. I tell with all of my books that this is not Doubleday Book Company. These books are all made at my kitchen table. And I do have a workroom, but I like to, whoops, I've got so much stuff just stuck in here. Some of these things will be clipped in, but I didn't clip them in for now because I was trying to make this go as quick as we can because there is so much to see. And I don't know if we're even going to be able to get it all in there. Let's see. All the pages, I've always done that. Put the strips down the middle of between the pages in most all of the books. Maybe some of the smaller ones I didn't. But up here, let's start up here. It says, "The heart, like the mind, has a memory, and in it are kept the most precious keepsakes." Henry Wadsworth Longfellow said that, and I love warm and fuzzy quotes. I love anything that makes you feel good. I call them old, they give you an oh wow moment or whatever. This is an old doily back here. Some creepy cloth button. This is some Sweet Annie. I just went out in the yard. Sweet Annie's already coming up around here. Our weather's kind of crazy in southern Illinois, so I went out and picked just a little bit and dried it and put some in here. This says, "I'm just a vintage soul," and there's a pocket there. So let's see what we have here. Just have a little poem. It says, "Within the pages of this book, a story will unfold of love and home and family and memories worth more than gold. So set a spell and take it in and write if that's your will, because the pages of this tattered book are here for you to fill." So if you can find a place to put one more thing, help yourself, whoever is going to get this. This says, "We didn't realize we were making memories. We just knew we were having fun." Love that. Most all of the quotes and everything, most everything has a stamp on the back. "Grow through what you go through." That's a good quote for the person that thinks she's interested in this book. Will know after she sees this video. People do ask first dibs on the book, and that is okay. I don't make these to collect. I've got a collection of my own, and I may do a video and show a couple of them one day. But these are for sale, so anytime anybody wants to ask for first dibs and then make your mind up and be the first to decide after you see the video, that's okay. This is just a strip of lace that says love on it. This is the other half of this doily. This doily went across the page, has some creepy cloth around it, an image, says thinking about home. There's an old button up there, some old lace. Down here we just have what they're calling a belly band. I never knew about some of these words and things till I started getting in these groups, but just have some butterflies and some birds on these little images here. And butterfly and a ribbon and some lovebirds. I'll call them lovebirds because it's two birds together. Precious memories, how they linger. Love that song. Love that old gospel song. And this is Grandma's seed book. And, you know, I said in some of the other videos, and I should have here, these are supposed to be books that would have belonged to an old grandma back in 1942. And I said in the first book, we just pretend we're walking through a woods and we're on an old dirt path and we see a cabin off in the woods and we walk up on the old creaky porch of that cabin and we open the door, go inside, and there's a rocker across the room, and beside that old creaky rocker sits this old pile of old tattered books that Grandma has made over the years. And when Grandma's gone on to her great reward, those books just stayed right there in that spot. So that's what these are, and I make them just as authentic looking as I can. I really work at the tattered part. I tried to do a video because everybody keeps asking how I make the paper so tattered in the fabric. So I tried to do a video, a tutorial. I haven't done a tutorial yet, and I was so excited because I thought that would bring me in some more subscribers. And I didn't know what I was doing, and I ended up with 5 3-minute videos instead of a 15-minute video. So I'm going to have to try that again. My daughter said she'd help me, so we'll see if we can get that done pretty soon. Okay, so this is just Grandma's seed catalog. Just some old fabric down here. Really, it's just some pages of an old book, and this book is really old, so if you don't be careful, those pages might crumble. You know, if you're careful with them, they will not. I've been handling it and all that. So just some strips on each page, some buttons. These are seed packets in Grandma's old seed catalog. And these are flowers that Grandma would have planted decades ago. These are not some of the fancier things that we see today. This is what the kind of thing I plant in my garden, and I just have morning glories. I love morning glories. I just have thousands and thousands of zinnias in the summertime. And I had thought, if I don't forget, I'm so forgetful about some things, but I thought I would start putting a little packet of my own seed in every book. I don't have them yet, but we might start doing that pretty soon. Okay, so, and that will be clipped in. I just didn't clip everything in. I've got a couple things clipped in, but I didn't for this because I'm going to try to hurry. Okay, everybody, this right here first. Everybody keeps asking me where I come up with all the quotes and things. I'm 72 years old, and I've been collecting quotes since I was about 10 years old, and this is the very first quote. Do I have it in the camera? Yes. This is the very first quote or poem that I ever bought, and Daddy had taken the family to, my sisters and I had a singing trio. So we'd go to the National Quartet Singing Convention down in Memphis, Tennessee in the fall every year, and we'd always stop in at the Stuckey's. So I saw this little diaper, and it had this little baby on it. That little kind of looks like a mean little baby, a devilly baby, but it had this poem on it, and I thought that poem was so cute, but it had a bad word in it. And, you know, I was raised by a Baptist preacher, so we don't say bad words, we don't read bad words, we don't own anything with a bad word on it. So I was begging for that. That little diaper was $1, and Daddy didn't want to give me $1 because it had a bad word on it. I said, I promise I will mark out that word, and I will put rear where it had the A word there. But anyway, it says, when me prayers were early said, who tucked me in me widow bed, who spanked me widow rear till it was red, me mutter. who lifted me from the cozy cot and set me on the ice cold pot and made me pee if I could not me mutter, and it just goes on and on and on. So this is the very first. I was 10 years old, so that was 62 years ago when I bought this first quote. And I don't know, something just hit me in those quotes, and I have been collecting quotes ever since. So I have crates of quotes. Now, some of them are things that you probably, most of you, have never heard or seen before, because they are the older quotes. But a lot of them, you know, even some of the older ones, like my granny used to say, pretty is as pretty does, and beauty's only skin deep. That's decades old, but we still hear that today. So who knows? But anyway, that is my very first quote, and so that's going in here for the owner of this book. I'll have to be careful tucking that in. Okay, and up here, this is just a paper doily, some fabric back here, lace, some old images, put a pocket there to put I've got 2 pockets here, as a matter of fact. And so let's see what we got here. This is an old Pond's, or some kind of old cold cream. The ladies used to call it back in those days cold cream. It was moisturizer. It was just an old advertisement. It looked like something Grandma would pull out of a book to me, so or cut out of a magazine or whatever and keep. So this is Grandma's Apron, the poem about Grandma's apron and what she used the apron for back in the old days. This is an image of some shoes. Grandma probably tore this out of a catalog or a magazine or whatever. And this is a pattern for an apron, or for some aprons. And this is just a little book that Grandma found, and it is the months of the year, but I just put 4 in here because I knew I was going to have too thick. My book was going to be too thick. So it's just 4 little pages with some buttons and a pin up here and some ribbon. And you can read it. I won't read everything in this book, but most of this you can read yourself. It's hard to see in this light up here. And let's see. Well, let's go to this page first. These are 3 little tucks, or whatever you want to call them. I just put the little chicken on there, and this says, the older I get, the more I realize I just need the simple things in life. A comfy home, good food on the table, and to be surrounded by the people I love. That is so true. That's the most important thing in the world, love and family. And this says, experience is simply the name we give our mistakes. Oscar Wilde said that. And that's a good quote. So I get a lot of experience because I make a lot of mistakes. I'm a very experienced person. Okay, the best things in life aren't things. I love that. That is so true. The best things in life are not things. What's better than a hug? A good, warm, sincere hug. Goodness gracious. Do something today that your future self will thank you for. And then there's just an image up here. It says, focus on your blessings, not your misfortunes. Focus on your strengths and not your weaknesses. Be yourself and don't wait for the approval of others. And then it goes on and on and on. Like all my stuff goes on and on and on. Life is a collection of moments. Now, see, I've got a little sun trying to peep in now. The sun is finally coming out just when I need to have the right lighting in here. A creepy cloth, lace, some old burlap. And then this is the most fun thing I think I have done in all of these books. This is a diary of Grandma from 1942, and I have 1 page for each month of the year of 1942. And it's just talking about Grandma and Grandpa living on an old farm, and it talks about things that Grandpa's doing during the day and Grandma's doing during the day. Here it says, let's see if I can peek under here. It says, Pa had to break the ice on the water troughs this morning. Old Man Winter has set in good, and it's making the cattle have to fight for their water, and it's up to Pa to see that they're okay. It says we have the holidays behind us. The Christmas tree is long since come down. And it just goes on. And just different pages in here talk about different things. The neighbors killing hogs and I don't know what all. And a church homecoming and a community picnic and socials and old-timey things that they did. But it is a page for each month of the year. I just loved writing that. I wrote the whole thing. So, and I'll be doing others, and I may come up with some way to do just a little diary with just a little bit of addition to it, and sell just the diaries, because this is something really neat. Okay, let's move along here. This is so full, it's hard to do anything with it. Let's see what this says up here. This is just some old net. I was at Hobby Lobby buying some, I don't know if I have any in here, but there's a fabric there that I like that's lime green and has white dots on it, and I had stopped in there to get some of that, and the lady in front of me ahead of me was buying this net, and I thought, wow, that goes with my colors good. So I told her to give me a half a yard or a fourth yard. I can't remember. I don't buy too much of anything. Told her to give me a little bit of that, and I hadn't used it yet, so I put a little bit in here. The most treasured heirlooms are the sweet memories of our family that we pass down to our children. That's so true. Love always. Even a smile is charity. And that's just a paper doily heart, and I get those at the Dollar Tree. They come in a package, I think, of 12 or so. This is just some strips. I pinned it up here. Got some buttons on here. This stuff is really hard to prop in here. The lighting is not good. This video is not going to be good, and I'm so sorry about that. I'd like to make a difference. God's given me a place on earth to be here for a while, and I hope that as I'm passing through, I will make somebody smile. I want to make life easier for all the ones I meet, and I ask God for his blessings to the strangers on the street. I love that. I've carried that poem with me for, oh my goodness, 20 years, I guess, because I like to leave a little something at the table. When we go out to eat, or a little gift bag on the table, if we stay in a motel, whatever, if we're on vacation or just on a little weekend trip or whatever. I like to leave something for everybody. I'm a huge giver. But so I always put that little poem in each one of my little gift bags. I don't know. I just love doing stuff like that. Crazy. I don't know why I do that, but I do. Okay, family, a little bit of crazy and a little bit of loud and a whole lot of love. I love that, and I love the way that heart kind of made it on there. I love this image of this heart here, and there's just some lace right through there and lace back in here. It's doily. It goes across the whole page. But it's the same doily going across. I just have tons of doilies. I love doilies. Let's see if we can open this up without knocking everything down. Oh, this is my favorite saying of all time. I do think I have a mustard seed and I'm not afraid to use it. You have to know my mustard seed story to know how cute that is. But, I don't know. I saw Geezer. I call him Geezer. Call my husband Geezer. Always have. I saw him in the halls of high school when I was a sophomore and he was a senior. And I wasn't allowed to date. I had been told, my daddy was a Baptist preacher, and I'd been told there would be no dating until you're out of high school. That was all of us, my sisters too. And I saw him and our eyes met, and he didn't pay any attention to me. He just went right on. But I thought, oh, wow, something just happened to me. So I bought a mustard seed necklace that weekend. I just started praying over that and saying, God, please give me Billy Comer. It's just, I know I can't date for 2 years yet, but so you got plenty of time to make it happen. Anyway, Billy Comer is downstairs in the recliner right now. He doesn't like that story. He likes to think this whole thing was his idea, but I believe it was my mustard seed. I call it my mustard seed miracle. So I love mustard seeds. I give mustard seeds for lots of stuff. Okay, be so busy loving your life that you have no time for hate, for regret, or for fear. And I love that little chicken. I put that on lots of stuff. It's just a little tiny book. I got the little book idea from Jenny Miller about a year ago when I first started doing these like this. I've done these since the 80s, but I gave them away. I made them and gave them away as gifts. I can't even think. I've got so much going on here. This is just a little place to write some notes or whatever, and this is also, let's see, I bet I'm not getting half of this in there. Just some little tuck spots to write some notes if you want to write some notes, some private things. Nobody will ever know they're there because they're thinking, I don't want to read another quote, and then there's nothing in there but you're writing. How sneaky is that? It's not another note. Okay. This is Grandma's scrapbook. And it's pretty fat. It says Grandma's Secrets up there. It's made out of like of cardstock, and I just poked the holes in it and started adding strips of fabric here and there. And perhaps this is the moment from which you have been created, and that's out of the Bible. So we have this moment to hold in our hands and to touch as it slips through our fingers like sand. Yesterday's gone and tomorrow may never come, but we have this moment today. I love that. That's out of an old Bill Gaither song. Some patterns, a little safety pin there, some buttons, just some squinched up fabric there, and a button and a heart over some lace. Some more fabric photos. I believe Grandma would have collected things like this back in the day, because there wasn't like malls and things to go to, you know. And so I think when she found like the old Sears catalog or the old Montgomery Ward catalog or whatever, and she saw things she liked, I believe she probably would have taken them out of there. And here's some hairstyles from the 1940s. And I typed that in to get that because I wanted to find authentic hairstyles from the 1940s. So that is supposed to be authentic hairstyles from the 1940s. Here's some little strips here. Be your own kind of beautiful. Just a big flower and some fabric strips and flowers and buttons and beads. And then the back is just a fabric, and then some big image on there, and some lace and some creepy cloth. Now I'm going to lay this aside instead of trying to keep this all propped open. Lay this aside. This is an envelope that is just full of little readings and things, and we won't go through all of them. My goodness, there's so much in there. I put a doily there. Let's start in the back. This says the little boy and the old man. Said the little boy to the old man, sometimes I drop my spoon, said the old man to the little boy. I do that too. You know, I'm adding words here. But the little boy whispered, because I've already read this, so I'm trying to hurry. The little boy whispered, and he said, I wet my pants. And the old man laughed, and he said, I wet my pants sometimes too. The little boy said, and I often cry. And the old man said, so do I. And then it just goes on and on. The little boy says, sometimes he feels like nobody pays any attention to him. And the old man says, sometimes I feel that way too. It's a great little reading by Shel Silverstein. And then the bottom says, remember, dear ones, the world is changed by your example and not by your opinion. I try to set a good example, but boy, I am full of opinions, let me tell you. You probably guessed. For the highs and lows and moments between, mountains and valleys and rivers and streams, for when you are from where you are now and where you will go, for I've always known, and I told you so, for nothing is happening and all has gone wrong. It is high on this journey you will learn to be strong. Is that what that says? And you will get where you're going, landing where you belong. Morgan Harper Michaels, I think that's what that said that, or wrote that. Okay, this says the Heart-Worn Bible is just about, Grandma's Bible, and the Bible wore her imprint, the cover soft from use, its pages rubbed and wrinkled, and the binding coming loose. Nothing is impossible. The word itself says, I'm possible. Audrey Hepburn said that. And let's see. Happiness can be found even in the darkest of times if only one remembers to turn on that light. Oh, yes, there's always light at the end of every tunnel. Shall we pray? God created the rose in the likeness of a woman. That's a neat little reading, but we cannot read everything because we got a long way to go yet. No beauty shines brighter than that of a good heart. I love that saying. Love people with good hearts. Nothing better than kindness, love, kindness. Beauty attracts the eye, but the personality is what captures the heart. That's a great quote, too. Okay, I'm going to tuck those back in there, and I'm just going to lay this aside for right now because we got lots still to go here. Let's see. This says, we cannot control the wind, but we can direct the sails. And it's got some creepy cloth, some buttons, an old key there. This is a packet of mustard seed. I put a packet of mustard seed in almost all of my books, unless I just forget or the book, I just don't have room. I don't know, but this is a hanky. That is real mustard seed, by the way. So you can plant that, whoever gets this book, if you want to. I got a feeling this lighting is not going to be good, and I'm going to have to do this over. Okay, this is the contents of this journal was intended for an audience of one, me. I plan to use this book as a place where I can make mistakes, I can decide what works and what doesn't, where I can experiment and I can have fun and I can copy someone else's technique for the purpose of learning, and it just goes on and on and on. Okay, hate no one. No matter how much they've wronged you, live humbly, no matter how wealthy you become, and think positively, no matter how hard life is. Give much, even if you've been given little, and forgive all, especially yourself, and never stop praying for the best for everyone. Says type yes if you agree. That must have been off of Hobby Lobby. Must have been off of Facebook. Okay, a bit of hanky lore. I'm not going to read that, but I put a hanky in here, so I thought I had that, and I dug it out and put it in here. The most important work you will ever do is within the walls of your own home. No truer words have ever been said. It couldn't be done. I love this poem. I've carried this. I mean, I've had this, gosh, I don't even know how long. I don't know, many of you have had it, have read it too. It's an Edgar Albert Guest poem, and I love all of his stuff because a lot of his stuff, or most of his stuff, rhymes, and I love poems that rhyme. But this says, somebody said that it couldn't be done, but he with a chuckle replied that maybe it couldn't, but he would be one who wouldn't say no till he tried. So he buckled right in, and with a trace of a grin and on his face, if he worried he hit it, he started to sing as he tackled that thing that couldn't be done, and he did it. So that's good advice for the person that may be getting this book. Don't let anybody tell you this, what you're trying to do, cannot be done, because let me tell you, it can. Miracles happen for those who believe. Absolutely, positively, no doubt about it. Okay, this is just a big doily fabric flower lace around the pages. Big heart. That's just a big paper heart there. This envelope is just full. There's no way in the world we can read this envelope. Love always. Just have some fabric and lace and all that. Did some little bit of pink painting on there because there's a lot of pink in this book, and I did a little bit of that throughout. There's just no way we can read all this stuff. So let's just take a quick peek. This is Grandma's Pearls of Wisdom. I've traveled paths you've yet to walk, learned lessons old and new, and now this wisdom of my life I'm blessed to share with you. Let kindness spread like sunshine and embrace those who are sad. Respect their dignity, and give them joy and leave them feeling glad. And that goes on and on and on. Doesn't everything go on and on and on? I wish we lived in simpler times when love was quick to seed. I love that. Absolutely love that. That goes on and on. Let's see. Do not grow old. I think I put this in almost every big book, but I love this. Do not grow old. That is foolish. Collect the lessons of life that life gives you and file them under things I have learned. Whoops. Okay, one day at a time with its failures and fears, with its hurts and mistakes, and with its weaknesses and tears, with its portion of pain and its burden of care, one day at a time, we must meet and must bear. I'm telling you, I hate to read these things because I mess up so bad. Our daughter is a radio, she runs the radio station, but she has her own talk show, or plays music and all that and talks, and gosh, she would croak if she heard me reading some of this stuff because she has to read stuff live on the air all the time. She would not hire me, that's for sure. Okay, Be So Strong. Now, this is just a bunch of readings. I just found these recently, and I just love this. And it just sounds like something Grandma would tell her kids and our grandkids. And So I just put a bunch of them in here. Be so strong that nothing can disturb your peace of mind. Talk health and happiness and prosperity to every person you meet, and make all your friends feel there is something special in each and every one of them. And this one says, do something about your life now. You know you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. Don't just think about it. Look at it and complain about it to whoever will listen. Stop conning yourself into being a volunteer victim and telling the same old story over and over again. That is such good advice. Okay, you can start over again. Don't even think about quitting now. It's easy to replay in your mind how things did not work, how much you lost, and what you are going through, how angry you are. There's no amount of conversation or magic that's going to wipe the slate clean. Good advice. And then it goes on to answer those questions. You are not meant to stay wounded. We're supposed to move through our tragedies and challenges and to help each other move through the many painful episodes of our life. We're not supposed to just mope around all the time, in other words. Speak quietly to yourself and promise there will be better days. Whisper gently to yourself and provide assurance. Now, these things go on, and they just speak volumes. The whole paragraph is one profound sentence after another. This says, promise yourself to be strong, that nothing can disturb your peace of mind, to talk health and happiness and prosperity. Oh, I think we just read that with another. You might find two things in here that are the very same. Did we or not? Or have I just read that so many times? I think. No, I don't see it. Well, I don't know. But anyway, they're just very profound, thought-provoking readings, and they're priceless in my opinion. That's the kind of stuff I collect. I don't collect stuff that's like silly or goofy, or I want something that's going to speak to me now and whatever, a few years down the road, or maybe spoke to me decades ago. I don't know. Youth is not a time of life. It's a state of mind. It's not a matter of red cheeks and red lips and supple knees. It's a temper of the will, a quality of the imagination, a vigor of the emotions, and that goes on. And that was written by Samuel Ullman, and he lived from 1840 to 1924. And the name of it is just Youth, and it's just a priceless reading. Here's the thing about people with good hearts. They give you excuses when you don't explain yourself. They accept apologies you don't give. They see the best in you when you don't need them to. At your worst, they lift you up, even if it means putting their priorities aside. And I could read that on and on and on. Oh, my goodness gracious. So many people walk this earth with a purpose in their eyes, but in their heart of hearts, they know what they're living is a lie. And this goes on to talk about jobs, and we're constantly doing things that don't make us happy, but we just keep on doing those things. And we could just as easily do things that do make us happy. Okay, a taste of your own medicine. Don't give them a taste of their own medicine. They already know what that tastes like. Give them a taste of your medicine. If they lied, let your medicine be honesty. And if they played with your emotions, let your medicine be maturity. If they broke you, let their medicine heal. And that's just priceless. I mean, to tell you, Dirt Roads, I love this. And I meant to look up who the real author of this is, because so many people have claimed this, and I've been saying for years that Paul Harvey wrote it, and he did not. Neither did some of the other people that claim this. I did find out who wrote it, and I bought the two books that the man had written. But I can't for the life of me think of what his name was. But this is, it says mainly what's wrong with society today is there's too many dirt roads that have been paved, and there's not a problem in America today. Crime, drugs, education, divorce, delinquency, and it just goes on and on. That wouldn't be remedied if we just didn't have more dirt roads, because nobody, it says, would walk a country mile to shoot somebody. So if they had to walk down a country road, that's so true. Okay. Oh, I love this. I like to do a lot of writing, so some of the stuff in this book I have written, and it's just I don't know. It may not make sense to a lot of people, but it's my kind of thing. It says, "Dear children who come after me, I want to tell you how to have a good and rewarding life. It really is true. We should do unto others as we hope they will do unto us. None of this bickering and backstabbing, because that will get you nowhere good in life. And I want you to go the distance with flying colors and on cloud nine, and that ability is available to most all of us. So stay true to thine own self. It's much more important to be an encourager than a discourager." And then that goes on and on. Everything goes on and on. Okay, for right now, I'm just going to lay that aside because there's so much still. This is a reading that I just wrote this several years ago. I don't know, some things you keep, and it just goes on talking about, I'm not even going to read it. It's 3 pages. It talks about... back in the old days, everything now is disposable, it seems like, and people don't cherish anything or keep anything. And back then, if it was broke, we fixed it, whether it was a relationship or the screen door or the fly swatter or whatever. So it's a neat, very neat reading, but it's just too much to read right now. We got too much going on here. Okay, we're back to the last page of the book, but still, let's see. You want to bring happiness? If you want to bring happiness to the world, go home and love your family. That's a Mother Teresa quote, and I absolutely love that quote. Got a pen here with some buttons on it. Home. It takes a heap of loving to make a house a home. A heap of sun and shatter, and you sometimes have to roam, and it just goes on and on and on. Have a big flower here. There's some of that fabric I went in Hobby Lobby to get the other day. I love that fabric. And when you distress it, it's real bright. When you see it on the bolt at Hobby Lobby, it's going to be real bright. But I love that. I also bought this edging at Hobby Lobby too, and I got home with it and I thought, why did I buy that? That's too flowery, and but it makes a really cute edging. Okay, let's see what we got here. And this says Chatterbox, and it's Grandma's, another scrapbook of Grandma's, but it's got quotes and sayings and things in it. It says, "The beauty of a woman is not in the clothes she wears and the figure that she carries, or in the way she curls her hair." I've got that distress pretty heavy right there. But it goes on to tell what the real beauty of a woman is, and it's what's on the inside that counts, just like my granny said 70 years ago. "I'm a fiercely independent soul, believing strongly in the importance of being whole on your own. Be still, I am hopeless, but still I am a hopeless romantic, infatuated with mad, passionate love and the idea of two souls merging as one." It goes on and on and on. Okay, you're not your age, and you're not the size of the clothes you wear. You're not a weight in the color of your hair. You're not your name or the dimples in your cheeks, and that goes on and on. And this is Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. I put this in the last big book, I think, and I just love the image. I love the little girl, and she's pointing up at the star, and I just love that, so I put that in here. She was beautiful, but not like the girls in the magazine. She was beautiful for the way she thought. She was beautiful for the sparkle in her eyes, and when she talked about something she loved, she was beautiful for her ability to make other people smile, even if she was sad. Okay, and this says, "I made my life an arrow." And every time I see this, I think of a song our middle son used to sing, and it was "Lord Help Me When I Aim," and it was about a bow and arrow. And but it was talking about, aiming, changing lives and all that. And it says, "I made myself an arrow. The tip is a deadly sharpened point. So people never came so close that I may disappoint." And that goes on. And then in the back it says, "I wish for you comfort on difficult days, smiles when sadness intrudes, rainbows to follow the clouds, and laughter to kiss your cheeks, sunsets to warm your heart, imaginary hugs when spirit sags, friendships to brighten your being, a confidence for when you doubt, and faith to believe, and courage to get you through each day. But above all else, I wish you love." Okay, that's it. And that's the back. That's the back of that quilt. That big piece of quilt, I just ripped it, really, is what I did. And it ripped so easy. and wrapped it around this whole thing and then tied it. So there's lots of readings in here. Lots and lots of readings. There was just no time to read everything. So that's it. These books are not, everybody calls their books junk journals. These are not junk journals. These are more junk book. It's more like a scrapbook that Grandma would have kept back in 1942 of all the little poems and readings and things that she's found along the way during her day or whatever. And pictures that she's found looking in magazines and just this and that. And it was just stuff that Grandma would have kept. And that was a whole different era. You know, Grandma would just croak if she saw some of the things going on today. She wouldn't give you 2 cents for most of what most people go out and buy today, because Grandma had her priorities in a whole different order. But anyway, that's it. Everything will be down below. I invite you to visit my Facebook page, Kay Comer on Facebook. I tell stories and things there every day, and most every day. And my Pinterest link, everything is going to be below. But I really invite you to join my Facebook page for the Junk Journals from Grandma with Love. Junk Journals from Grandma with Love. And we'd love to have you over there, where we just kind of keep updated on things that are going on. And I hope you'll subscribe to the channel. Tell your friends about it if you like this style. Help me build my following, I guess, is what I want to do. I love making these. I don't have a lot of time to spend on it. I don't know how people do turn out a book a week and all that, but I have a big home and a family, and you know, everybody's grown and all that, but I'm a very hands-on mom and all that. So that's it. Thank you for watching. Sorry this took so long. I knew this was going to take long. Now I've got to put this book back together. And the person that has asked for first dibs on it will have a chance to take it if she wants it. If not, I'll post it again, or I'll let you all know. Thank you so much, and I appreciate your patience, and I love you all.